and action.
So
All right.
we are not professionals. We are just having fun doing this.
Yeah,
That's what it's all about, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Welcome back to another episode of 31 Sins BBT Paranormal Podcast, where we talk to other teams, professionals like the gentleman we have here with us today. We like to do pre-game podcasts before an investigation, and then we do a post-game podcast after we're done. And then, kind of guide you guys along the way. But yes, tonight we are joined by somebody we're very, very excited to talk to. Mr. Larry Lawson. Thank you so much for taking the time and reaching out.
I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. What we were saying before we hit record, as I kind of told him, I feel a little intimidated, mainly on the sole fact that you don't get to hear too many paranormal stories from people that are in law enforcement or on that side, of us, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And it's, I kind of make the comment every once in a while that paranormal community kind of gets laughed at by some. Think it's all fake and it's blah 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 and bull crap and stuff. So we have somebody with honor like you, being a pro in law enforcement, and I'll have you explain everything you do, but to be able to talk to somebody and be like, okay, there's legitness to this because you have a career and that kind of putting yourself out there.
Well, it's interesting. You mentioned that you don't get a chance to talk to cops and firefighters, paramedics, ER docs, and nurses. We all have our experiences, but it's not as how to put this. It's not as quiet as it used to be. When I first came on the job, man, you didn't talk about this stuff because your boss would send you for a fit for duty psych.
Exactly.
Nowadays, we talk about it regularly, and I love talking about this a little bit. Honolulu, Hawaii PD put out an entire series of pop shows on YouTube. You can still see it on YouTube about the haunted experiences their officers had on duty in their station houses on the road. So it just gives you an example that it's not like it was, 40 years ago when I started. Now we're talking about it more, but yeah, in the early days, you just didn't say a lot about it.
And I always go back to the UFOs, and everybody laughed and said there's no such thing, and then you have fighter pilots getting on and be like, no, I saw it, and everybody's like, oh, okay, maybe there is something to this, and that but Larry, please would give us and some of the viewers a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm just a regular guy, but I started off my career in law enforcement a long time ago in February of 1980, to be exact. And I got started. I left Ohio to go to college in Miami. Ran out of money to go to school, so I started my law enforcement career early in the Dade County Jail in Miami. It's now known as Miami-Dade County. That's where I got my start, and it was there that I had my first actual paranormal experience. Like a lot of people that have had experiences when they were kids. Not me. Mine was I was still a kid. I was only just barely 20, but it was in the Dade County Jail where I was working one night. I was totally on the job of maybe 5 months, 4 months, something like that, and I was sent up to the 4th floor of the jail. The old Dade County, well, I guess it's still the main jail, is 10 stories tall. It's a huge facility. It's almost a city block in its entirety, 10 stories tall. They sent me up to the 4th floor to cover the floor. They were short a man up there, and I'm sitting at the control booth, and I'm just like I said, young, full of piss and vinegar, if I can say that.
Yes.
As a youngster, and I'm in the control booth, and I'm looking at the lobby in front of me. I'm in a sealed control room. It's secured, and I'm looking at the lobby, an elevator, and then 3 wings that go down the cell blocks. And at the end of each wing is a large barred door that leads to the catwalk that goes to the outside, the perimeter of the jail cell, so we could, look and go in. The 4th floor was interesting because that was the floor they kept folks that were having mental health issues or they were on suicide watch.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm sitting at the desk and I'm looking straight down the middle aisle, middle cell block, and I see a tall, lanky person in what appeared to me to be a uniform, walking right to left. Nothing see-through, nothing spooky, wispy about it. I thought it was our lieutenant had come up from the bottom floor to catch us sleeping or whatever. And I hollered at the two guys behind me in the control booth, the LT's on the catwalk, you better get out there. So they headed out the back. Now, the interesting thing here is the only way you could get to up there was the elevator that was right in front of me or the stairwell that was attached to the control booth in the back. Only two ways. So anyway, the two guys go out the back. One goes right, one goes left. They walk all the way around the perimeter, and they came back and they said, Lawson, nobody was out there. I said, I'm telling you what I saw. And they said, this place is haunted. Stuff like that happens all the time. Now, as a sidebar to this, and I will give the caveat up front, I won't say that somebody wasn't pulling a joke somehow.
Right.
But I don't know how they did it. You had to also walk down each cell block from the lobby every 30 minutes or so, especially the center one, because that was the suicide ward. Suicide. You had to walk down and you had to sign the log that says you walked down there and checked everybody, made sure everybody's okay. Now, this is pretty archaic's not the good word for it, but I mean, it was different back then. And in the suicide cells, you were not allowed to have bed sheets because they used them to harm themselves. So I walked down, did my check, and as I'm walking down, I stop in front of this cell, and neatly folded on the ground was a bed sheet. So I pick it up and I pull it out. I said, "Okay, guys, what's going on here?" Lawson, you were, and I had done the last two checks.
Right.
They said, "You were the last one down there, man. We didn't go down there," and they're right. But in front of that cell block was a little folded sheet. And what was interesting was that was the last cell where somebody hung themselves.
Wow.
Now,
God,
they could have worked. They could have, but what I saw down at the other end, there's no question what I saw there, and there was nobody that came down the back stairs after that, went on the elevator. I don't know who that was, but I also don't know where that bed sheet. So anyway, that was my first experience with this whole thing. Then of course I ended up going to the police academy, hit the road. Was a road cop, and we had strange things happen. I can't sit here and tell you I had an exact paranormal experience on the road. I had things happen, but you could always kind of explain them. And when you get a kind of a sixth senses in our business, like don't stop this car now, wait for your backup to get there before you go in the building. Just something tells you to be careful. And I didn't really have anything specific after that. But it was about, so it had been about 20 some odd years later. I was the director of the police academy at this point. And my older boy wanted to go to St. Augustine because we just lived about 3 hours south of St. Augustine, Florida. And my son wanted to go because of a very famous Ghost Hunters episode. I don't know if you guys have seen it, where they were in the lighthouse in St. Augustine. They put a camera at the base of the stairs, and they caught a figure looking over at them. It disappeared a fraction of a second. It was another layer up, a fraction of a second. Never been debunked as far as I'm aware. So Ryan won. And by this time, I was already starting to begin my paranormal investigative career. And we went to St. Augustine, and we got in there, and we took the first tour. And Ryan said, he was turning 11 at the time. He said, "Dad, can we do the next tour?" They were only 2 hours apiece. I said, "Sure, we're not going back to Vero Beach tonight." So I paid tickets, got us on the second tour, and the tour guy said to us, "Look, you've been through here before. You get the deal. I've got a small group. I'm going to take everybody to the Lightkeeper's house, and you guys can have the lighthouse for about an hour. What do you say?"
Oh.
Really? We took it. So we're on the 4th floor, and we're sitting there, and you can't hear anything outside, except the wind blowing through the top. And we hear kids laughing. Unmistakable. Kids laughing. Backstory is in 1879, when they were rebuilding the lighthouse, 2 little girls died during the reconstruction of the place. They were on a cart that was going down to the water. They were playing roller coaster or something on it. Cart went in the water, and they died. And they had been reported to be haunting the lighthouse since. Well, being a cop, I hear this. The first thing I'm doing is I'm looking for wires and speakers. Figuring they're trying to enhance the experience, right?
Yeah.
Nothing. There was nothing in that lighthouse that could have done it. And that's when I decided I was going to start really looking into this big time, I formed the Florida Bureau of Paranormal Investigation, which is my investigatory team. In 2016, due to people just wanting to hear what we were doing. And I'm a big history guy too. I love talking about the history of our county here in our area. I started Indian River Hauntings, which does historical tours and stuff like that. So that's how I got into all this. Sorry I took up too much time, but that's how I got to where I am today. Bunch of stuff in between all that, but that's how I got to where I'm at today.
I don't know about them, but I'll sit here and listen to you talk.
Yep.
The whole
this is what I want to hear.
Yes. Yes. So your first initial introduction into paranormal was full body apparition.
Full body apparition. I've only seen two others since, and both of them were in the Marsh Landing restaurant in a place called Fellsmere, Florida, where after I retired the first time, I went back out there, a little town in northwest part of our county. I was their detective for a while, and I saw two full body apparitions in the Marsh Landing restaurant there. So crazy town that.
Yeah.
In fact, Fellsmere is the reason I started doing the tours, because folks, after I retired, went out there and began to, folks found what my side gig was. And next thing you know, hey, you got to talk to this person.
Yeah.
So I bring my team out there. And Fellsmere, Florida, my friends, definitely one of the most haunted spots, and nobody knows about it. But that place is nuts. And we started getting crazy things out there, some of which you can find on my website. So we had a couple really nice EVPs out of there. And, can you talk to our Rotary Club? Can you do a tour for our Cub Scout group? And that's what gave birth actually to Indian River Hauntings in 2016.
That's awesome. So, I don't think Florida's too far from us.
Hey, it's great in February.
February's just okay.
That is true, but you got to fly, because you're not going to drive in the winter.
Yeah, probably not.
That's not too bad. I've driven from Toledo.
No, it's not bad, but driving in the winter and flying, not his thing.
Yeah, not a flyer. It used to be a flyer. Can't do it anymore.
Gotcha.
But I mean, they do make some pretty strong pills to help that situation, but we'll see.
Well, if you get down here, consider this an open invitation. We'd love to show you what we have down in the neck of the woods.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Well, you did mention touch on something. I don't know if John was going, but
no, go ahead. You do.
You know, like the history and everything else. That's kind of what we tend to do before any investigation that we go on, is we try to learn as much as we can about the history of the place.
Sure.
And then we'll kind of backtrack, and then we'll watch some other teams' videos, evidence, stuff that they capture, just to kind of get a feel for what's going on.
Process of elimination between many different opinions.
Yeah, because not everything that is out there is, truthful, and unfortunately,
Really?
makes it hard.
Hear that.
Makes it hard for us that are actually trying to figure out what the hell is going on. A little bit harder. So, but yeah, John is usually our go-to when we book a location. He's already got
I try.
12 pages of notes. Like, okay,
Like right now. I got my notebook right now.
Some teams don't want to hear the history, but
Yeah.
most of my career on the line was as a detective. That's what my primary duty was. So I always am investigating. I've always been doing it. I mean, I was on the job for 40 years total.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
And that's what I did. I investigated. But getting the history, the background of where you're going, not, hey, we see a ghost there, or we heard a voice there, but the history of who was there, how it was built, tragedies that were, all help you paint that full picture. So I think some teams don't want to hear anything, but they got to hear, in my opinion, they got to hear a little bit of the history.
So yeah, we kind of have a game plan. Like I do all the digging. Like I buy a notebook for every new hunt, new investigation. I got all my notes, my layout, my history, who, what, names, everything. I try to find death record, anything, whatever I can get my hands on, I want. And then we have a lot of times it'll be, okay, we'll ride out there. I'll ride with Chuck sometimes, and I'll be like, okay, what do you want to know? And I kind of fill them in a little bit here, and we get there, and then Tiffany goes in blind a lot of times. And then it works out well.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah,
there is a reason.
I got a feeling I know what it is, and it's because you see things other people don't.
Exactly. I was just watching one of your podcasts, and I actually have a timestamp on something that you said.
Hey, great segue, by the way.
But it's like when she goes in there and she says things, it's like she's the only person I've ever met that said that she was a medium that actually produces the evidence. And like one of the things you pointed out was really awesome. It like sticks with me. about how skeptics, they know you can have the evidence right in front of them and they still won't believe it at all. But if you're open minded and you let things come in fact, it was skeptics and how it goes beyond the open mind, even with proof right in front of them, they still have the most doubt. And I was like how you worded yourself in that that YouTube podcast I was watching. Sorry, I'm nervous. I'm not a skeptic because I want to believe. I'm open minded. I want to learn. I want to get into it. And like Tiffany will go in and break things down and teach, and then she'll show me. There's times her and I will bicker back and forth, like like maybe I have the ability too, which was funny watching you and Chris talk about that kind of stuff. I'm like, I don't know. I just kind of break things down with process, try to put things together and everything else. But like some of it's gut instinct or just natural instinct. But like watching that podcast is like watching us working too. It was really awesome to see, and it's just like the lady you had with you, Mandy, I think her name was. She was breaking down that she was a medium and how she explained things, and watching her and Chris talk about their two different styles really got me thinking even farther into a lot of this stuff.
You're referring to Chris Huff, that friend of mine?
Yeah.
Yeah. That man's amazing. He'll be mad if he finds out I'm talking about him, but he joined via the internet from England.
Yeah.
Which makes what he does. And I had problems with mediums. Being a cop, I had problems with, like it can't be. And I would get calls during it when I was working a case of homicide or something, and it would never come up. Chris has proven himself time and time again with the historical background, with the the stuff that goes with it. So I get where you're coming from.
I mean, I think it was pretty cool the way he was talking about like Lucy and some other names that he was mentioning on there too, and then how you would break down and talk about it. That's a lot what Tiffany does with us. When we first met her, one of the big locations we went to was Asher Walton House, and like she just told us about a dream, and I was like, oh my god. And Chuck and I started flooding her with pictures of our investigation at this location, and she was describing these photos that were in our phones. Like there's we didn't know her. Like we only last October we met.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was our second podcast with you, but it was in December, and it was just incredible. So like I like how you worded that. It's not about being a skeptic, it's about like I want to see it. I want to compile my evidence and put together to prove it.
Well, I get asked a lot of times, you're a cop, how can you believe in ghosts?
Mm-hmm.
And it's really not a stretch when you think about it. And the way I talk to folks about it is, if I'm a detective coming to your house to investigate the crime that happened there, do you want me to come in with preconceived notions of just what I think it is?
Right.
Or do you want me to come in with an open mind, look at all the evidence, and decide what happened and who did it based upon the evidence? Well, the second one, of course, is the answer I was getting. And, well, paranormal investigation is no different. Yes, you can have a lot of personal experiences, but when you've got those, maybe some equipment gained evidence, and historical facts to go with it, boom, you're in business.
Yeah.
And that's where we got to get as a field. We got to start. I got to be careful. I get my soapbox here, but we've got to get to the point where we're all working together a lot better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And sharing information, collecting evidence, storing evidence, sharing said evidence to help us find what the answers are. Because if you have an open mind, you could be skeptic. Look at everything critically. I believe in that totally. Make sure there's nothing that has caused this piece of evidence that could be man-made or natural.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Once you've eliminated that, open your mind up enough to think there's something else out there. Because folks, I'm telling you, I don't need to tell you guys.
Yeah.
There are things out there we cannot explain, and we're seeing more and more of that every day. Mm-hmm. And if we keep our minds closed, we're never going to get over that hump. We're never going to get these questions answered.
And I think that's the biggest problem right now, specifically with the paranormal community and the scientific community. We're always bumping heads because they have the science, to back them up, and we have, if we capture something that we've already went through and it's all on video, like we are trying to debunk this. We can't. So, and like our tagline is pretty much like, you tell us, because at this point,
I mean, you have a quote that goes along with what Chuck's saying. It's to understand what it means to investigate and research paranormal. Keep it real. It's not like TV.
Yeah.
And I think what they do on TV is what's ruining it, because it makes hard, because you can see people on social media and everywhere arguing it that
Mhm.
they're just not believers, and that's okay. It's their opinion. What are you going to
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Well, you're always going to have that, though. You're always going to have people that aren't going, and that's fine. They've got a right to their opinion. That's one thing we tend to forget in society today. Is everybody has a right to feel the way they want. They just don't have the right to attack people.
Mhm.
But anyway, yeah, you're right. You got to keep it real, but you got to have a standard way of collecting the evidence. And that's another mantra of mine. If we all can get somehow on the same page. Not everybody has the perfect way. We certainly don't. We're not perfect
Right.
at what we do. But
Right.
if we can all come together and come up with a set of standards that we're all comfortable with and all follow it, then when you guys collect evidence up there in Illinois and I collect evidence down here in Vero Beach, then it's collected the same way. We can share it and it means something.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's like in police work, we do that all the time. We collect evidence, and even though if there's a homicide in Illinois or down here in Florida, we investigate pretty much the same way. There are some differences in rules, differences in styles, but essentially the structure is the same.
Yep.
If we all stick to a structure of some sort that we can all agree to, then we can share that evidence, and it legitimizes it. In my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
Tiffany, you got something? I can see
Yeah.
it.
So I'm gonna swing it kind of my direction with mediums and stuff. I mean, mediums have a different answer depending on what their abilities are all of the time. So should there be a standard for how that operates too, or do you think that that's too much of a gray area to even touch?
I am not qualified to answer that one.
I knew that was coming.
Good answer.
I'll just be honest with you. Now, do I believe that there's absolutely a place at the table? Chris Huff has proven that to me. The man, he's going to hate me for this, but I don't care. He's a genius.
It was amazing watching you two.
He's very humble. He doesn't believe in. He won't take a penny for readings or anything. He just doesn't feel that way. But there's a place at the table. But to put those kind of parameters on folks with your ability, Tiffany, aren't fair. So how can we incorporate that into the bigger picture? There's a way. There's got to be ways to do it. Now, the scientific method can't really be applied to a lot of what we do because we cannot repeat things all the time.
Right.
Because the other side talks to us when they feel like it. They're not circus animals, as I like to say. They come to us when they want to. So applying the scientific method's tough, but there's got to be a way we can build a bridge. And Tiffany, put folks with your ability. I would never think of putting those. And after being friends with Chris, I really get it. You can't put those type of collars on you guys. But is there a way to take what you're doing, and we do it. Chris says something and we research it.
They do that to me all the time, or they'll be like, "How did you know that?" Because like they said, I go in cold.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a quick story? I know I've been talking to you.
Absolutely.
Oh no! This is all about you. Go.
You don't want that. Anyway, my son Ryan, the same one that was with me in St. Augustine, we're in England in 2019, summer of 2019, visiting some relatives there. And of course, I connected with Chris. Chris and I became friends because I was doing my podcast years ago, and found out he was an expert on haunted Royal Air Force airfields, particularly Bomber Command. That was of interest to me because my father, who is an American, flew for the RAF in the Second World War and was in Bomber Command. Okay.
Oh, cool.
So I got hooked up with him when we became friends, and a couple years later I go to England, and we are at RAF Elvington, which was a bomber base. They flew an aircraft called not a Sterling. What the? Oh, he's going to kill me for this one. Halifax bombers, French and Canadians mostly. But anyway, we're there at this field, and we're having a really intriguing time. They have a Quonset hut there that was a museum for 609 Squadron, which was a Spitfire squadron that defended that area during the Battle of Britain. And we're in there, and we've got a device going, and Chris asked the question, is there anybody here with us? And you hear the Fury. And Chris asks, what? Now, we're hearing this. There's no way you can concoct it because it's what's coming out of
The spirit box?
The spirit box, or if it was we're doing EVPs. One of
Okay.
the two. There was no way to concoct that. It just
Right.
happened. So we get Fury. Do you have the rank? What rank were you? I'm pretty sure it was a spirit box because I remember hearing the and we hear Sergeant. Great. This was very, very clear. Ryan, Chris and I all heard it. I get back about a week later and I get an email from Chris with a tombstone. Sergeant Alan Fury, 609 Squadron, died October 1940.
Wow.
You can't make that stuff up.
Wow.
I still get goosebumps thinking about that.
Yeah.
But that's the history matching the evidence, and that's where we got to go. I'm sorry, Tiffany, that was a long answer to your question. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
But yes, no, I would not put parameters on you because you guys have a special gift that folks like me don't understand. I'm as sensitive as a rock. So to put those kind of would not be correct, but there's still a way to get you into the structure and use those incredible talents because they are legitimate and they are real. Oh,
just like that.
It's not a podcast without Tiffany doing this.
Yeah, this is normal for Tiffany. She pops in and out whenever she feels.
It's such bad luck. She'll get a storm and it's just
But to touch on something you said a little bit ago, like, you know, and I've said it several times. There's no right way and there's no wrong way to do this. Some will say the wrong way is going in there and being threatening and, you know, trying to agitate and calling out for demons and everything else. Yeah, we don't do that, you know. But
I just agitate him at the nurse's station.
That's actually one of the questions I have for you.
Oh, a nurse. I bet you have had some experiences.
Oh no, I'm not a nurse, but we were at a place where there was a nursing station, and I was antagonizing the spirits a little.
Yeah, antagonizing with facts, and it was to
I
rile
was
them
mixing
up.
medicine.
Yeah, the wrong medicine. But
Verbally, not real.
yeah, the outcome was exactly what we were hoping for, and you know,
What, your camera getting thrown?
yeah, exactly that. But for instance, we did the Villisca Axe Murder House. It was our very first investigation with Tiffany, part of the team. Similar thing. I don't know anybody who doesn't know the story about Villisca, so we kind of didn't delve too much into it, you know, because it's kind of a known story. But while we were there, we kind of let Tiffany go and just be like, whatever you hear or feel, say it, tell us. And there was one part in the middle of the night where she says something about a family member, right? And we're all kind of looking like, what the hell is she talking about? Like, this story is known, nothing about family members, right? Until the next day after the investigation on our way home, John had bought a newspaper.
I put 7 months of investigating homework on this location because I wanted to find everything. I'm talking family records, everything, nothing whatsoever. I never found this until she said it. And then on the way home, I was digging and digging and digging. And I clicked a link that I didn't see, and it opened up exactly what she was saying. I'm like, how?
No, it was in the newspaper that you bought.
It was in the newspaper.
Well, it was in a newspaper too, but I also clicked the link in the car too.
Yeah.
That's right, we did. We bought an article, one of those little propaganda newspapers that they sell about the
replica
article
newspaper of the night
back in the day, and it was on there.
Coincidences, man. No coincidences.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
I handed him the newspaper too. If you want to say no coincidences, I'm like, here, you
She
want
did.
one? And I just kind of threw it at him.
She did.
Yeah, and there's things like we did Spirits of Marco. It was a haunted church in Indiana, and the only known death that happened at this church was a guy named George, who got hit by a train. His last request was to die in the church. Only known one. All night, we're doing our investigation. We're getting crazy activity for one, and we made it a point not to talk about George until later on.
We wanted it to say it first.
we wanted to see if George would tell us that he was there first.
But before you say that, it's also a shared church between pagan, Christian, and what was the other one? Lutheran? Atheist. And it went from a pagan day to a Christian day. And as soon as it hit midnight, now the party's going to talk about.
Which, mind you, we had no idea at this time. But we decided we're going to, hey, George, are you here? Can you give us, can you say something? Let us know that you're here. The second we say his name, a damn train horn goes off.
And when the train horn goes off, the spirit box says George at the same time the train goes off. The
It's
only
just-
train we heard all night.
That it was the only time we heard a train horn go off. Is when we talked about George.
I assume
midnight.
there's railroad tracks right there.
They
They're
were a
about
bit
half a
down,
mile
yeah.
down.
They were.
Yeah,
They're about a half mile down, but they did separate the town in half.
yeah,
Like it's a clear shot. With the part we were looking at, we're like a block away from the edge of the cornfield where you can see the train tracks. So the train comes at midnight. Spirit box says George, and then the horn goes off.
yeah.
And so we have cameras running all night, uncut, going on there, and like it was amazing the
Yeah.
way it just the whole atmosphere of that church shifted that night.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
It's we've had so many situations like that. It's been that's why we do it though.
Yeah.
Right? We are I believe, and I said it before, we are all skeptics in a way. We go into a location, we're not thinking this place is going to be hopping. You know, let's make sure we record everything. You go in thinking, okay, let's see what happens. There's been two locations I think we've been to, at least one.
One
that
for sure.
Nothing happened at all. Not a
All had that happen.
damn thing happened.
It was sad.
Excuse me.
I gotta
It
ask.
was a long night though.
It
Oh,
does.
Oh,
It
yeah.
does.
We got some sleep.
I gotta
It
ask
was
though,
a double
because
whammy. Sorry.
one of the things I found out for you was you mentioned like on your website I was looking at where you're a leader, a speaker, and an educator of the field of the paranormal investigation and research.
Mhm.
Can you break that down for me? I know there's many different types, but what's your ideology on it?
Oh, okay, can you give me that question again? I kind of
You're a proven leader, speaker, and an educator in the field of paranormal investigation and research. Like, what is it that you do? Like, do you go around talking and like, is it part of your ghost tours or?
I do, yeah. I talk a lot about ethics in paranormal research and investigation. I talk about the structure thing that I was discussing. I also spent a lot of time in law enforcement. One of the things I did, my primary function when I was a detective was crimes against children, which led to a bunch of doors, which included having to learn a lot about cults and deviant groups. You guys are maybe too young to remember this. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, there was just a tremendous influx of accusations of ritual abuse of children. And that's what caused me to have to start looking into it, because I actually had to work a case like that. And from that, I began to study the different types of religious cults, both Christian as well as satanic type groups and Afro-Caribbean cults, that type of thing. So that's where I got a lot of my background. That's actually helped me quite a bit in the paranormal, having an understanding of other religions, of other backgrounds, and so that's what I talk about a lot to other cops. I used to do a course on teaching cops how to investigate crime scenes, for example.
Okay.
So that's what kind of opened the door to a lot of that. And now I do lecture a bit on the ethics of some of the ethics that we need to follow in paranormal research, as well as, like I said, the structure and training. Training is real big.
Gotcha. Do you have like a creed or anything, like a rule that no matter what, you're not breaking it when you do this?
Be honest. I mean, I don't know that I have a creed in the sense of a word I shout every time we do an investigation. But honesty is the most important thing. I spent 40 years with a badge, and my reputation means too much to me to make things up or change things just to, I don't know, get a contract or whatever.
Mhm.
So being
Gotcha.
honest and keeping it real is the most important thing for us. And and I'm lucky because no offense, guys, but I got the best team in the world. Sorry.
Agree to disagree. No, I'm kidding.
But we all have the same mindset. We all have the same goals, and that is a huge help. Obviously, you guys have that too. I can see that from your interaction, and that's terrific. But that's a big help. We just try to keep things honest and upfront.
Awesome.
Yeah, I feel we all three of us really work. Number one, open-minded, like you said, is our number one thing. We get into a location, we would work up a game plan leading up to an investigation. The second we get there, out the window. We forget half the stuff we talked about. We don't do half the shit we talked about, but it always ends up working out.
I used to study so hard that I wanted to lead something in particular, like without telling them, hey, let's go check this out. Or what's that? Yeah. I stopped because it just, even if we got there, we're pulled in a different direction anyways.
Yeah.
So.
And it kind of happened our last investigation. We did Pine Lawn Manor in Sumner, Illinois. Yeah. Started off as a motel, turned into a hospital for
disabled elderly retirement home.
And it's 2 separate buildings. One building, unfortunately, was just a little too damaged. Roof collapsing all over the place and everything. So we were more focused to one building. And, you know, it was hot. It was muggy. It was not a good night to be out there investigating. So we, right there on the spot, it's like, hey,
he's in Florida.
Let's try this. Let's try this. First time we've ever done this, and I love the way it worked out. But it's like we're all going to go in and do a solo session. You're going to go in there for 30, 40 minutes. We're going to record everything. When you come out, keep your mouth shut. Next person goes in, does their solo. Third person, you know. And once we're all done, we're going to get together in a room and we're going to share our notes. Okay, what hot spots did you find? What activity did you find? And it couldn't have turned out any better because we all locked in on the same spots, same activity. They both saw something. And so we all went in as the team to those spots, and it just turned into an incredible night. Incredible night.
That's a good idea. We do a little thing we call quiet time up front. And we start off an investigation and we go 10 minutes or so. Everybody finds a spot, they sit, nobody says a word. It's quiet. Whole idea is to get everybody into the vibe of the venue, if you will.
Yep.
But also, everybody's required to have a piece of paper, and whatever thought comes into their mind during this time, they write it down. No matter how weird it is, they just write it down.
Yeah.
And at the end of our investigations, we now turn them in, and during our review, we do a review, and we put all this on video.
Nice.
And I go over the notes, and it's shocking how often we get stuff in that quiet time that people just, it came to them, that we actually got some evidence of it during the investigation. So it's kind of the same, a little bit of the same.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
We usually, my one thing I even told John when we first started this, let the house talk. You don't have to go in there and ask the same questions everybody else that's been in here before you.
Now, to be fair, I'm
talk.
brand new at this.
Yeah.
What, a year now at most?
Yeah, about a year.
I'm brand new at this. Like, he got me hooked on it. I've always loved this kind of stuff. Didn't know it was real. I got hooked, and then I met Tiffany, and all of a sudden I got 2 different fields coming at me, and it's like, I love it as much as any other hobby I got now.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
I understand that.
It's been amazing.
It draws you in.
It really does.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
We did eight investigations this year, which is
Was it? Yeah.
2 of them were
The first
back to
half of the
back,
year.
same night. Which I would love to tell you the story of our new favorite location, which is the Asher Walton House, which is in Indiana.
Atlanta, Indiana.
I don't know, John, you want to give a little bit of the backstory of this house?
Oh, he probably has access to things we can't get to. Okay.
Oh.
So this house, Asher Walton married his wife Julie. Julie's dad used to own a hardware store in this town. He loved her so much he built this house. You ever see the movie Rose Red? Stephen King movie or book or anything? Pretty much he gives her the power to choose whatever she wants to build this house. So he builds this house for her, brings people in, Belgian woodworkers, German woodworkers, all kinds of craftsmen from Europe coming down. It's door frames that like you don't see in American houses. It's amazing. American houses are nice, but this is like the woodwork is uncanny.
It's solid.
This whole house. This place is
amazing.
Huge. They got 3 dining rooms, one for breakfast, lunch, dinner. There's at any point in time there was 3 generations of family living in there. Some of them pass away over time, some don't, but something tied down to Julie and Asher in this house. However, they both died 8 years apart at 3 a.m. When they went,
On the day.
On the same day. One was like 3 a.m., one was like 3:08.
Mhm.
But it got to the point where Asher bought the town. Like it became a trading town. He owned the hardware store, the banks, everything. He wasn't like he was a businessman, entrepreneur. But once a month, people would travel from all over on a full moon to get together where no women and children were allowed in the house, and they would get together. So we have all of our theories. I like to believe in werewolves because I'm a goofball. They're like uh, Masonic type stuff. Looking into it, no, there's no record of anything that I can find. I found this one little paragraph about this statement and what I just said. Once a month on a full moon, brought it to the guy who currently manages the house. He used to live there. One of his best friends owns the house. He's a lawyer in the area. He's like, yeah, I have confirmed that. And there's a notebook they got with a bunch of things, and that same paragraph is in that notebook that you go through. Well, this house, it's known for children sitting in your lap if you want to play games. If you were to do like an Estes and you sit down in the kids' room, what used to be the kids' room, now it's a giant walk-in closet. They added the bathrooms later. Other than that, everything else is original in this house. And like you sit down and you're like, is there any children here? And if you hear laughter or anything, you're supposed to ask them to sit with you and play. They'll sit on your lap and everything. It's really intense. A lot of the things going on there. Asher used to run his office out of his bedroom, and every now and then when he wasn't home, his wife would stand in the window looking out, and there's also right outside their bedroom on the stairs, there's a foyer that can overlook the other side of town, and they used to catch her, and every now and then you still see her on there. But this house, the way it was built, the way it's laid out and everything, we're trying to figure out what it is that happens on a full moon. Again, we have our theories. We're trying to get all of our evidence, and we can't figure it out. We have a couple different things. We got a video coming out with our whole night of active evidence. I mean, a super active night. And we all did our own thing. We went, you probably from front of the house to the back of the house, what would you say, like 70 feet or more for the hall, from the front to the hallway right before the bathroom?
Yeah, I'd probably
Right
say
around
closer
there?
to 100 even. It's
Even well with the bathroom, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
So we're in 3 different rooms. So we're like on the cameras. So we go in 3 different rooms, and we're just sitting there, kind of in silence, recording whatever we get, listening to whatever you can. This house is so like thick and heavy, like we could yell and you can barely hear it on the same floor. But downstairs, we're not hearing each other. They added this. There's 2 staircases. One comes up and wraps around the front of the house. The other one goes straight down and wraps around the back of the house. Comes out the kitchen. It doesn't matter where you're at. You're not going to hear. Like one of us could take a trip down the hallway and we won't know until they're physically in front of us. That's how soundproof this house is.
Wow, that's so unlike old houses too.
yeah.
No, it's
This
not.
is-
It's different. Like this house just came from somewhere like I don't know. They packed the walls with mud or whatever they did, but you don't hear anything. There's no echo when you talk. The place is massive. It's like 2 I don't know, like 2 Chicago style houses where the tall and skinny put side by side to each other, and then they stack
Yeah.
them 2 deep as well. It's massive, and we're sitting there playing, and like we all try to do it. Well, I guess I'll get to that in a second, but we're trying to figure out why. I'm sorry,
No,
I'm
it-
excited for this. So I'm
I'm-
trying to figure out like what goes on and what room does this meeting actually take place in. What do these guys do? We had everything from like really nasty, inappropriate thoughts of what they did to simply just maybe a business meeting that happened to take place when all businesses are closed in the middle of the night when no one's working. And we tried everything. Well, the responses we were getting was like they were actively like wanting her out of the house because no women are supposed to be in there, and she would say I'm not leaving, and then something would actively just boom go off and say we want you gone anyways in some type of way. It was not really harsh on her end, but it wasn't pleasant either.
Can
And
I
like
ask a question?
Yeah.
Ask a question real quick? Tiffany, did you feel anything? Did you get anything specific?
Oh, I needed to get out of there. My anxiety was crawling, and like when I know they're going to get to it in a second, but when we were by ourselves, there was people constantly pacing back and forth behind, like in front of me, like, "Are you going to go yet? Like, you need to get out of here."
Okay.
And
Okay.
like John said, the responses that I got when I was like, "I'm not going anywhere. We're just
We-
off the wall." It was
it worked out
amazing.
where she was in the middle. Chuck was in the front room. I was in the back of the house, and I have on camera 3 apparitions, I guess, going by the
Yeah.
room. One of them stops and turns, and like if you sit there and look at it, you can see the silhouette along the wall. But
It was very clear.
very clear. We have 1,
Actually,
2, 3, 4 camera angles on this. My camera happened to be direct, and the thing is there was no light, but you see a light bar come through. We had no light. We use IR cameras, or we'll have low light cameras depending on the situation. We turned the lights off, and we were just sitting there looking, and like it just, you see it plain as day come on there, and it stops, and it's like, I saw it with my own eyes. I'm like, wait, is my eyes playing tricks on me? And I pull the camera up and I aim at it, and it's like, oh my god! So we're working on that video now just to make sure we can get them out there.
I was just gonna say, I would love to show it to you right now if you'd like.
I'm game.
Okay.
It is a house worth going to. It's
Yes.
just amazing.
So this is John in this room, and this is the hallway right out here.
And this is an EMF tripwire.
Yeah.
That's why
So,
you're going to
Okay,
see.
Gotcha. Yeah, we've got those also.
all right. So here we go.
And if you look
Watch-
right above the molding, you're going to see kind of a light moving. And they all have their cameras too. So you can see where they're at, what they're doing, that they're not out in the hall as this happens. Man, that's not the greatest. Oh yeah. Is this the first video, the first cut?
No, this is the second one.
When you
Oh,
screen
yeah.
grab? You see it right there?
Okay, the first question I've got to ask you, is it near a road?
There is a side road. It's on the corner. It's a corner lot. Where this is in the middle of the house, there's not even a window in the room behind me.
Yeah.
Any windows down here, down that hallway that could...
The only window would be to the left, probably about a good 30 to 40 feet down, but the hallway kind of curves, and then it goes around.
Okay.
The way the rooms are interlocked, they're staggered, the hallway goes down the stairs and loops around it. So if a car were to aim its light, it would have to go up almost 2.5 stories just to hit the bottom of the window. That's how big
And they
this
were
house
completely
is.
covered. They were
Okay.
completely shut.
I had to ask a question. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, you're absolutely. I'm trying to find like an overhead shot of this house to explain, but basically where John is behind him is the neighbor house,
Okay.
and at the down on the right side, if you look down the right side of this hall is a bathroom, no windows,
There's
if
no
you go to
windows
the
on
left
this half of the
side-
house.
and you go to the left side, there's a room over here which is where Tiffany's sitting, and then another 50 feet is the front window.
So
Right?
what
But-
you're seeing right here on to the left of it, where the floorboard goes around and goes up, that's a closet door.
Yeah, this
So
is the frame.
her doorway is 15 to 20 feet down, and then the
Yeah, that's a good-
staircase. The windows are only on the far side of the house, the direction the camera's facing, and the front of the house, until
Yeah.
you get to the first
Light
floor.
would if it was a car, it would literally have to be going down the road, going straight through that window.
Yes.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yes.
I don't see how a car could have done that.
So-
what you're describing.
Now continue to watch because that's the first one we captured.
Okay.
There's about 30 stairs you have to walk up. Oh yeah, if you
So
look at
he
the
actually
wall-
acknowledges it. He sees it.
Oh, that's right. There's no sound in this.
There is. Oh, you're not hearing audio?
We
Okay.
don't hear audio.
Okay, my bad.
At this point, I'm like, oh my god, are my eyes playing tricks on me? So I sit up a
Yeah.
little bit. That's the bad thing about low light cameras. The tripwire can make it a little blurry.
Yes, it's unfortunate.
But see, where's it at here?
So he just acknowledged that he thinks his eyes are playing tricks on him. Then
There goes
that
the
kind
light
of peeks
movement
around.
again.
That's weird.
Now this is the interesting part.
This is the cool part.
That big light beam.
Yeah.
Now,
So
when you run that through a negative filter, you actually see a body silhouette.
when this thing like comes, it almost like, oh, somebody's here, and it turns around and he leaves.
I would have loved to have had a flare on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been nice. So that's just that's what the current one we're working on now.
So when did you say you're inviting my team and I to come up and investigate?
Whenever,
Anytime.
Whenever we will book another night on a full moon,
absolutely.
and make this happen.
You pick a day that's a full moon, we'll book it,
Red
and
Pod will travel.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I have
amazing.
to all the time too. It's fine.
yeah. But yeah, this has become our new
She
favorite
does.
place.
Yeah.
And we
It's-
became pretty close with the owner, or the manager, I guess. I call him the owner because I don't know if anyone knows that house better than him.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
amazing. Keith is awesome. Like, if it were up to me, I would book every full moon in that place just to figure out what happened that night.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
All right, for sure.
I'm not kidding. We would love to have you guys come out here and, you know, my biggest get off for this whole thing, like especially with John, I love introducing people to new stuff. John's never done it before. I got to take him to Cambry House, which was my top location. I got so much crazy activity there, and to see him experience the stuff that I've already experienced, it's like, all right, validity. Like this is the real deal. We got to take Tiffany there, so she got to see it after hearing everything. It's like, all right, validity, cool. It was a little not as active that night, but they've been changing a lot of stuff.
Crazy.
They dug in the
Still-
land. That house and the history on there, it's pretty
Still
much
crazy.
a religious war there.
Yeah, and John and I doing Asher Walton to then taking Tiffany to even having more crazier thing. I would love to have you guys come and do your thing and see what happens for you.
Well,
Because-
we are all about interacting with other groups and sharing ideas because we don't have all the answers. Nobody does.
No.
So it's always good to be working with somebody else. And, getting back to that structure thing, once again, if a group of teams can get together and come up with a set of just some guidelines that we all are cool with,
Mm-hmm.
and just wouldn't that be amazing if we could just, if you, like, for example, we
Yes.
we spend a whole lot of time at the beginning of each investigation. I do what the weather is, what the solar weather is, what, is there any geomagnetic storms going on? Is there any solar flares going on? Things like that. You guys did the same thing. Wouldn't it be great if we had similar evidence caught under similar conditions?
That would
Yes.
be amazing.
Yes.
And it'd
Yes.
be tough for anybody to argue with that.
Indisputable. Like you don't have a leg to stand on at that point.
I know it's not the clearest or the greatest camera footage, and we don't like to doctor up anything or clean it up. We like to keep it how it lays.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those things where, like, if we could pull that night off again, now I know to remove that tripwire to see what we actually see without it. Because that tripwire is pretty cool. You can hit it, it won't go off. But one of the things I hate is when the camera gets blurry. I've noticed in that video that the camera only got blurry when that thing was getting ready to walk in front, and it brought a light shadow with it. So that's what's got me thinking, what could it be? I'm trying everything I can.
Mm-hmm.
What could be, because I thought about that with the angles. I got a stupid notebook here with geometry in it because I thought about that car thing. Because the first time Chuck and I went there was a brownout the whole night. We didn't know until we saw right in front of that case. We saw like what we thought was an apparition, and we're digging and digging and digging, and there's no cars driving by, nothing, because the first floor does have windows.
Yes.
A lot, way more than there is upstairs, and half of them have.
What the film we saw was on the second floor.
Yes.
floor.
Yep.
Second floor.
It's about 30. Well, it's about 9 steps to get up into the first floor, and about 30 steps to go from the first to the second floor. So that car would have had to have been coming up or down a hill to get in there. But I think like that, and I look at it because they do have security cameras there, but most of the time they shut off. They don't stay running. That town loses power like no other, and when it does, that's when. Right next door is also the Rhodes Motel, which is supposed to be a really well-known haunted place. So we went from Asher to Rhodes.
The next
And it
night.
It
That
was
was a
so
long weekend.
it was so eventful. Like because Tiffany will do like tarot card readings, and it's impressive the names and the things she pulls out, and I'm just like, what the heck, like that night she pulled off a Sarah, and I'm like thinking the whole time, no, the daughter's name is Cora, because Cora is a very well-known name that comes in that house, and it has like names will pop up in evidence of her lifestyle. So we go to Rhodes the next night, and turns out Sarah is what's the best term to use this?
A
Woman of the night.
Woman of the night over at the Rose Motel, which was supposed to be like a speakeasy for like, Capone and all them. And they did all kinds of other, like one of the Rhodes family members married an Asher Walton family member. So now I'm starting to dig and look into all this and seeing family history tie in there and everything else. And it's just like things that she'll pull up. I'll start looking a different path and find a whole slew of new evidence. And it's amazing just going in there. So like that house, like I want to buy that house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be amazing. And that
Yeah,
house is big enough. It's big. Oh my! How many rooms and bedrooms are in the house? Like 15.
A lot.
It's so they had some bedrooms were converted, like the grandma's bedroom. The oldest member of the whole family, they made her room at the back of the house, right up the stairs, which is now a bathroom that doesn't work for whatever reason. that bathroom, you saw, we were
That
looking down the
bathroom's scary.
hallway. It is like you just get a feeling. But he had his camera going, and something ended up walking in and walking out of the view of the camera in that bathroom. So I almost think that maybe Grandma came out to visit us. I don't know, but it was on a full moon night where no women and children were allowed.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like,
I think as of right now, you could sleep 8 people in that house. I think there's eight beds total.
Wow, do they rent it out as a B&B or something?
No.
He
No.
strictly keeps it for investigations. That's it.
Yep.
He this guy is very serious about it. In fact, his team's trailer is parked in that yard because behind where I was sitting, my back behind me is the backyard but he doesn't get into it anymore. He's older with knee surgery and stuff like that. He's just really like, look, I'm in tune with this house. I don't need to travel. I have this.
Yeah.
And that place is just,
It's
I would say-
amazing.
It really is.
we probably have
Research
80.
laboratory. You've got your own
Yes.
research laboratory there.
Yes.
That's why we need to buy it. So it's in our
Yes.
backyard. We have probably about 80 hours per camera of footage between the two
On
investigations.
2 investigations, yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at it here. We have a lot. So not to mention, that's just the video camera from John in that room, but you also have my camera running that's closer to the front. Tiffany had a camera running, which was across the hall and down a little bit. We
2
had
static cameras on each end of the hallway.
we had a DVR camera set up shooting down that hall the whole night that I haven't gone through yet. So
I did.
we could actually you've gone
I
through
have
that
gone
part?
through it. I
Okay.
have gone. Yeah, before I gave it back to you, I went through all of it.
So there's still a lot that we're gonna uncover as we go, but
No one left their prospective rooms. But the Estes, I'm going to let you tell that story, Chuck, or Tiffany. This
So-
place is so active.
You want to go, Chuck?
Oh my god!
we
I'm gonna go
we
book it
love doing the Estes method. It's just a cool little experiment to try. It doesn't hurt nothing. I'd say 8 times out of 10 we tend to get responses. We decided, I think it was at Velisca was our first time. We said, why don't we do a dual Estes and have 2 people in the same room, both be under, one person asking questions in a different room. Thought awesome. We had a great response from that when we had a voice from the bottom floor yell something up while Tiffany and John were under, and I was laying on the parents' bed asking the questions, completely separate room, and I hear a voice coming from downstairs. I was completely caught off guard on that one.
That's the one that said my name, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
Now,
So-
are you guys both on the same spirit box?
No,
No, 2 separate.
Okay.
2 separate. I asked her what speed she was going and what direction, and I took a different speed, different direction. In fact, I double her speed and went
Yeah.
to a different direction. And
There was
Wow.
one part where they both said the same word, literally,
Simultaneously.
like at the same time. So we decided, hey, why don't we try doing a triple Estes where all 3 of us go under? We tried it at the Asher Walton house on this night. First off, Tiffany scared the crap out of me because I was getting ready. I had my headphones on, so I couldn't. All I heard was the static. And I look up, and she just beams around the corner of the door.
In my defense, I was asking if everybody
I
was
know.
ready to go.
I know.
John's like, I'm ready. I was like, all right, let me go check on Chuck.
It scared me. But needless to say, once we all decided to get into it, everybody kind of locked in. John was full in. Tiffany
I was
actually went
already
down
going.
to the first floor.
Yeah, I was the only one downstairs.
She went downstairs. John was up at the front. I was back in the Asher room. Maybe 15 seconds. I just got this feeling of something's rushing up on me, and it wasn't nice. I wouldn't say it was aggressive, but I kept thinking like somebody's just like walking up to me like, what are you doing? To where I had a panic attack and I couldn't do it. So I
no, that's
literally,
not the first time you had that because
that is not the first. Cambry, yeah, there was yeah. But that was just me. That was just me doing an Estes, solo. And I don't know what it was, but I've never had this happen before or since. But in the static, like this noise happened, and it just reverberated from ear to ear for like 10 seconds. You hear the static, but you just hear this noise going back and forth. Completely threw me off like my game. I came out of that in a panic. We did. I did part of the dual Estes at Velisca. I think me and Tiffany
Yeah.
went under together.
We got him on camera under in the Estes actually getting touched in the bed. Like you literally see his hand get pushed into
Yeah.
the bed.
Yeah, his shirt moves.
on
shirt
one
moved,
of the
yeah.
kids' beds. Yeah.
Like it's not even like he could have grabbed the shirt and done something. It was a total different motion or pattern. at
Yeah, and you
this
see
house.
like my hands, I lay my hands on my chest, like in full frame, like you see, and then you kind of see me go, something just touched my arm. So we went and looked back, and like right before that, you just see my shirt just kind of like get pulled a bit, and it's like,
This is at the Valeska?
Yeah.
Mhm.
If I'm not mistaken, one of the questions right there, because I was the one asking the question at that point, and can you give me a sign, let me know you're here?
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, one of them says over here or something like that, and then all of a sudden his shirt goes and he gets up and he's done. We go
Yeah.
back and watch the footage, and even slowing it down, you see just almost like an imprint of someone sitting on the bed next to him and getting his shirt is what it looked
Mhm.
like. And it was crazy.
yeah, yeah.
Bad luck with you and Estes.
I
Or good luck.
start remember. Yeah, me and Estes don't get along very well. But I mean, it just throws you off your game when it happens like unexpectedly, and it usually starts like right as we start something. Something like just is like, you know what? Don't do this. Don't do this.
Yeah, it's easy to get knocked off your game when something unexpected happens. I've been there. I've been there.
Throws
Have you
your
ever
game
had
off.
Have you ever had someone in an Estes totally go under, like pass out and still perform?
When you say pass out, as if something made them pass out, or they just kind
Or
of got into a
almost like they just like yes.
Yeah, like a
yes.
trance.
Yeah, we've had that happen. Almost, and we tease them. You fell asleep, huh? But no, we've had a couple people get so deep into that they've just sort of drifted off's not right the right word, but yeah,
Mhm.
we've had that happen.
That's crazy.
Go somewhere else. Yeah.
Well, it's good that it's not just our luck.
No. Yeah, we've we've been through a lot already. We got a lot of crazy activity and evidence and stuff, and you know
What do you
we're
do with your evidence, if I may ask?
we do make videos. We have a YouTube channel. I was just getting ready to say, like, we do everything ourselves. We write our own intro music. I do the editing. We all
make it
review
fun.
footage. We make it fun. Yeah. So like when you say be real and honest, like that is 100% us three.
When he
Running-
says editing,
running
he
the
doesn't
show.
mean chop and splice. He means like this is the camera, and then what we do
Yeah.
is
Right. No, I totally get that from you guys. But I mean, do you keep them secure? The evidence secured anywhere? Do you?
Yeah.
You
Yes.
catalog it, things like that.
Oh yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I'm
I
looking
have,
at everything right here on my computer now. Like
We
Asher,
have,
Cambry, ISS, Marco, Rhodes Hotel, Velisca.
All the camera footages. We have photos. We have
Yeah.
journal. I journals. I got probably about 50 notebooks over here.
Yeah.
Now, I know you put them on to your website, or to YouTube rather, so people can see it. But wouldn't it be great if there was a repository where you could submit evidence and that people, investigators all over the world could take a look at it,
Yes.
maybe compare?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh yeah.
That would be amazing.
That would be. I just,
We wish we could get to that.
We're trying to hire an editing team at this point. So we might
We
just
have-
try to hire a web designer, and maybe we could start something up like that. But you know, this is kind of our way of doing it. Like you said, like you come spend a night at Asher, and then let's talk. You know, let's compare notes and see.
like even the people that are naysayers that try to insult us in the comments on YouTube, we're just like, hey, come with us, come hang out,
Yeah.
teach us where you're coming from. We don't even argue with them. It's not. There's no point in arguing someone's opinion.
Yeah.
So, good thing about being a cop, you kind of get thick skin. You don't really.
Yeah. And it just comes with the territory. You know, you're gonna have them anywhere you go, and whatever you do. Like if we were just, hey, I found this rock in the river. It's pretty cool shape. Then somebody would be like, that's a stupid rock. It's gonna happen.
Well, we had an interesting case I'd like to tell you about that I think
Yeah.
you're going to kick out of. This is about 3 years ago now. My daughter is also a cop. She was working for this little town of Sebastian, which is in the north end of our county. She has since gone to another agency up north of Florida and took grandkids and left, so I'm still mad at her. So Ashley, if you're listening, just kidding. But she was working one night on the midnight watch, and I got a call to this small house. House is built in the 20s. and it had been repurposed for it was a retail shop for crystals and stuff. And the alarm went off. Ashley responded to it. The two key holders, the owners were there, and they responded. And they find something in the middle of the floor that shouldn't have gotten there. There's no way it could have come off the walls, but that's what obviously set the alarm off. Well, one of the key holders, the owners, goes into the office, is looking at the tape, and she's watching it real time while Ashley's talking to the other one. And the girl in the office comes out and says, "Oh, hey, I was just looking at the camera, and she saw a shadow or something slide by Ashley that shouldn't have been there." And they commented about, oh, they've had these sort of things happen all the time. And this place has always got activity. And being the good daughter that she is, she says, "You need to call my dad." So they did. We went out there, and to make a long story short, I'll cut this down a little bit to the important stuff. But we start setting up. It's very quiet. Chris is with us that night via the internet. Now, when we have Chris, and John, you probably have seen this if you watched the videos, I've got earphones on. Nobody can hear Chris but me. He's got the camera turned, and he's telling me stuff. I sometimes will have somebody writing down notes if I've got to have notes taken what Chris says. But other than that, nobody can hear. So we're sitting there, and suddenly Chris starts, and I'm going to kind of condense this a little bit. Chris starts saying there's a little girl here. Her name is Lindy or Belinda. She's about 5, and you know, she died here, and you know.
I thought you were going to tell the Lucy story.
The Lucy story. No, that's a different one. I'll tell you that one if you want in a couple minutes. That one was really freaky too. Anyway, not a whole lot, but we've got all of our equipment going. We're videotaping everything, of course. So we use dowsing rods quite a bit. Another tool that I've really come to. You can't take it by itself, but when you put it with other stuff, it really works. And it was happening that way tonight. Spirit box going. Suddenly, Chris is telling me things. The spirit box is giving us the same questions. The dowsing rods are answering, and we're going. And finally, there's this little girl named Belinda or Linda. She's telling us about all the uncles that come over. They come to visit. Uncle Oscar in particular didn't mean to hurt her. It was an accident. He felt bad. He didn't mean to hurt me. And he talks about taking her outside down by the water, because this is very close to the lagoon we call the Indian River. And going back and forth. And finally she starts telling us things that are going on that immediately my antennas go up and I go into cop mode. It's as if I'm interviewing a child who's a victim. And I'm just asking questions. And finally I get to the point where I got to determine what time period this is. And I said, do you like to watch TV? No. Do you like to listen to radio? Yes. And I mentioned some modern stuff, and no. And I finally said, do you like Amos and Andy? Yes. So now I know we're in 30s or 40s probably. Ask a few more questions. It's interesting because Chris says the mother came to cross her over, but the child would not go with mom. She refused to go. Interesting.
Wow.
So, and then it went quiet. Just went quiet. It stopped, just like this stuff does. It just suddenly went quiet. But we got enough information that we thought, man, we've got something here. Maybe it's an unsolved homicide. So I have actually checked with the police department the next business day to find out if there's anything in the records there about a child who may have died back in the day. And of course, there's no records of anything such as that. So she ends up going to the cemetery and speaking with a cemetery supervisor, who then calls me, and I go out to see him. And the reason he called me was the week prior to my daughter talking to him, he had a family come down to visit a gravesite. They were from New York. He did not get their names. So we're still trying to figure that end of it out. But
maybe I can help.
They came down to visit this family stone. Harold Fear was the gravestone, the gravesite. And he was a well-known to do, I think he was in the Grove business in the early days in Sebastian. Maybe some cattle farming. But anyway, they got talking about all the kids that were buried there. And the husband, the father of this family said, yeah, we've got and this is my word, not, it's what they meant, but that's my word, a shirt-tail relative that we don't know much about them. They lived here too. And her name was Belinda. And she died tragically, we don't know how, in 1939.
Oh dear God.
And then we went to
Wow.
the grave site. Grave site's about that long, that wide, about the size of a child. The headstone, obviously this was a poor family, a small square coquina or shell rock brick. You
Mm.
couldn't even do a rubbing on it anymore, it was so worn. But there was her little grave site, Belinda. And when folks, and this is what keeps my juices flowing, because how could we have known that? The cemetery is about a mile away from the house. How could we have gotten the name right? How could we have gotten the general era correct?
Especially when there's nothing on record, pretty
There's
much.
nothing on record. There's nothing we could have known about it. Oh,
God.
but there is one other interesting sidebar. Actually, two. One is that we found through our research that there was a guy named Oscar who lived less than a mile away from the house and died in 2017 at the age of 100.
Holy
So-
Uncle Oscar.
Uncle Oscar. Now that could be coincidence, but I'm not a big believer in coincidences.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it all really, really, really came together. The other interesting thing about this story is one of my investigators, Sherry, asked me a question. She goes, I got this word, Dien Bien Phu, and I have no idea what that means. Do you guys know what that means? Dien Bien Phu. A little history lesson for you then. I think it was 1954 in French Indochina that later became Vietnam, the French were still trying to recolonize that area after World War II. The Viet Cong were fighting against it. Dien Bien Phu was the area where the French were finally defeated, and they left French Indochina, which became Vietnam, right?
Wow.
Now, here's the interesting part about that. Several years ago, there was a big case in Florida that had a group of massage parlors all up and down the coast. Cops tried to tried to break it up. It didn't work out. I won't get into any details. The last house, and this ran from Palm Beach to Sebastian, and the little house that had the Mystic store in it was the house in Sebastian that had the massage parlor. And it was occupied by masseuses, I guess, that were from Vietnam.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Holy.
So that's one of those cases that keep your blood flowing, because we got data that was verifiable.
Mm-hmm.
We had a grave site.
Yeah.
How did we know that? How could that have come through? Another example of Chris giving us really solid information that we could put our fingers on. We could touch that evidence. So,
Yeah.
cool little story.
Wow.
That's an awesome story.
That's talking about putting a puzzle together, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm still working on it. I don't know that I'll ever find the answer, because there's just too many holes that I'm gonna fill. But I know where Belinda lays.
That's amazing.
There's a lot of times people ask you about your favorite place to investigate or where do you recommend down there by you, and it's always Driftwood Resort.
Driftwood Resort's cool. The problem with the Driftwood is they're an active timeshare hotel, so they've got a great lounge there that goes to late night. We have investigated there quite often. Got some great stories out of that place, but it's tough to investigate it. But places like Waldo Sexton was the guy that put Vero Beach on the map, and he came in the early 1900s and helped build the place up. His estate still lives, and it's now a wedding venue. His great-granddaughter lives there with her father, who's Waldo's grandson.
Tiffany.
And, we go out there. In fact, we're going out there next month again to investigate it. And crazy things. That's where Lucy happened.
Oh,
Lucy. Okay. So I did some looking into the Sexton guy, and like everyone classifies him as really like eccentric, and they always say it 2 times.
Yes.
I was going to ask. They say eccentric builder icon, Walden Sexton.
Waldo Sexton, yes.
Everywhere I read about it, because that's like the only place I really got to dabble into. I was going to ask, because it looks like a lot of the things I see is they're turning it kind of into a trophy house. Does it seem like that? Like they're trying to give like an old time feeling, or is that just part of the aesthetic?
No, that's just the way it was built. Once again,
Gotcha.
That's the way Waldo Sexton was. The man had money. He was brilliant. You don't have enough time in the show for me to go through everything about Waldo Sexton.
Gotcha.
But he believed that everybody else's junk was his treasure. And if you look at the wall, the driftwood, it's called the driftwood because he used a lot of driftwood to put it together,
Gotcha.
as well as parts from other buildings. His house, his estate's no different than that. It's stuff that's beautiful. Don't misunderstand me, but it's stuff he gets from other places. It's interesting because he also had a dairy on this property that he gave to his son John Tripson, and John married his daughter Barbara, and they lived. It's maybe 50 yards away. He built a house there. John Tripson's interesting because he's trained in Fort Pierce, Florida, which some other history is the birthplace of the U.S. Navy SEALs. In the 1940s in Fort Pierce, Florida, they underwater demolition frogmen, as well as the Navy commandos, they called them raiders, I believe, at that time, trained on the beaches of Fort Pierce. And John Tripson was Navy commando. In fact, I think he got the Silver Star for activity in, I want to say, in Italy. But he married Tripson's daughter, and they built a house there, and it became the Tripson's Dairy. And the property as a whole has become a wedding venue, but it's also become quite the place for people to come that want to experience the other side. And it's quite a place. If you come down, that's the place I'm going to take you.
I was just gonna ask.
And also the Fellsmere School. The Fellsmere School opened in 1916. Once again, don't have enough time on your show to tell you all the stuff that's happened.
We have no time limit.
Yeah, well,
but if you go to my website, you'll go under evidence and you'll see Billy. It's an EVP of Billy, and upstairs. This is just before a hurricane hit us. I want to say 2019. I think it was 2019. My team was upstairs. Well, to give you the full story, I've got a tour going that night, and afterwards we're just going to investigate the school. I was the detective there at that point, so
you get pulled.
I was able to do what I needed to do. And the city of Fellsmere is great. They've always opened their arms to me. They know that I love the city, and I'll do everything I can to make people realize what a gem that little town is. But at any rate, I got a tour going through there. My team's upstairs getting everything ready because when I'm done with the tour, we're going to investigate. Well, I'm downstairs in the basement area that at the time was the Boys and Girls Club, and we suddenly hear footsteps come down the stairs, and the door handle rattle. Myself and all my guests turn and look at the door. Nobody's there, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, looks like it's going to be an active night. But just to be on the safe side, I said, let me just check and make sure none of my guys came down here. So I go up the steps, up to the second landing, and I see all my gang. They kind of gathered together there, and I said, did anybody come downstairs? And they said, no, but you got to hear this. They were up in the auditorium, and they were just doing a quick EVP session. And there's a little boy we call Billy. Don't know if that's his name, but that's the name he goes by, and he responds to Billy. And one of my team members, a guy named Mark Holt, says, Billy, is this the room you like to be in? And it may be a little different, but that's basically what he says. Is this the room you like to be in? Earphones make it clear, but you can hear it without earphones. A little boy saying, yes, sir.
Wow.
Now, folks, there were no kids in that building that night. So one of two things could have happened. We either faked it or it happened.
Yeah.
It can only be one of the two things.
Right.
And folks, I don't fake things.
Attaboy.
My reputation will back that up. And that's just one of the another Ryan, my son Ryan, who was in St. Augustine with me, very stoic. He's a baseball catcher, very serious guy, very factual.
Yeah.
He helped me with my tours back when he was in high school. We finished up a tour one night, and he comes down from upstairs really mad. Ryan, what's wrong? He goes, they're laughing at me, Dad. Who's laughing at you? The kids. I couldn't lock the door in the choir room, and they're in my ear laughing. My son's a very stable young man. And I mean, the city clerk used to be in there at work at night, and she stopped because one night she heard a blood-curdling scream from the attic, which there's nothing in, of a man. And she wouldn't come back there after that. She passed away a few years ago, and the current city clerk is in there. The cleaning lady, Letty, If you've read the book, John, you saw me use the name Letty in there. I don't know if you've had a chance to read the book yet.
I bought it. I haven't gotten it yet. I bought it a little bit. It's still shipping.
When you see the name Letty, she's the one that told us this happened. She is cleaning out Maria's office, and Maria is the clerk that took over for Debbie, who passed away. And Letty's cleaning the building, and she hears, "Hi, honey," which is exactly what Debbie used to say to her. And Letty said she didn't think too much about it at first, and suddenly she realized Debbie's dead. She didn't leave scared. She left with tears in her eyes because Debbie was well loved. So that's the sort of thing. So that would be the other place.
I love it.
That I think is one of the most haunted spots. Marsh Landing Restaurant. I've seen two full-bodied apparitions in there. But the school, Marsh Landing, definitely Waldo's Secret Garden are the spots.
Okay. Guess we're going to Florida.
I'm okay with it.
I'll have to find out.
January, February. February doesn't. Believe it or not, it gets cold here in February. Now, cold is not cold what you're used to. But when it hits 45, 50 degrees, it's a tad nippy down here. I know it sounds, I'm not trying to be silly.
That's like the greatest summer.
I know what John's about to say.
It would be perfect for us when it's 4 and 5 degrees.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the cold, so.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die down there, but it's worth it. Oh man,
Wow.
I don't know. I don't even know where to go. There's so many stories like that Lucy story.
Lucy, yeah, that's
the Lucy story. There was
a whole lot about. All right, I'll say a little bit about Lucy. We're doing actually a film crew had come in and wanted to do a little documentary of Waldo's Secret Garden. So they're setting up. They're doing their thing. I got my team. I got Chris with us now. This has been getting this set up for a while, and the matriarch of the house, I won't use her name, was setting it up with us. Well, she suddenly passed away about 3 months prior. We still went ahead through it. Chris, as per our policy and procedure, doesn't know where we're at, doesn't know anything, right? We just do a walkthrough with him, and he sees a bunch of things that are interesting. And I go into this room, and I said, Chris, I got to get the team going. I'm going to leave the computer going. I'll be back in a few minutes. And take off the headphones, off I go. I come back 10, 15 minutes later. Computer's off completely. Not just went to sleep, it's off. Turn it on, I check the battery. The battery's okay. What the heck happened? I get back on there. I get Chris on there again. He said, yeah, Larry, I'm sorry, but I was sitting here just waiting for you, and suddenly I saw the spirit of a woman appear on the screen. And then I suddenly saw a casket in there. Now, Tiffany, you can probably relate to this. Sometimes you get symbols, right?
Yes.
So he saw a casket in there, and I said, oh, that's interesting. Okay, I didn't say a word to him, but I'll tell you guys what it was. That's the room where Hildy died. She had a heart attack and died in that room. I didn't know it at the time, but her shoes were still in there.
Wow.
Chris didn't know that. So anyway, we're talking, we're getting ready to go, and at this point, I was letting Chris go because it was getting late. It was in England, so it's like 5 a.m. for that poor guy. And we're getting going, and he suddenly says, "Who's Lucy?" I don't know. He said, "Does Lucy mean anything to you?" No. So I turned to one of the folks over there. I won't use any names, and I said, "So and so. Does the name Lucy mean anything to you?" And all I got was a, "Okay, Chris, I'll talk to you later, man. See you later. Okay, I'll talk to you later." I get off. I said, "So, what about Lucy?" Well, Lucy was a friend of this person's who they used to know from that property. And in 1967 or 8, she ended her life. Right there. I didn't know. It's just, it was so long ago and the family doesn't talk about it. But yeah, I assume that's the Lucy story you're talking about.
yeah, oh yeah.
But once again, out of the blue, and of course I found where Lucy is resting and paid my respects. But just crazy stuff like that. And that was at Waldo Secret Garden.
Wow. That's yeah.
There's so many great things down there.
There is, and what I like to tell folks is, that people look at Florida as sun, sand, and mouse ears. The matter is, Florida's history is so, our area here is so, our history is so integral to the growth of the state as well as the country. I mean, not 11 miles south of me, that famous group of brave people known as the U.S. Navy SEALs was born.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's stuff that people just don't realize about Florida. So, I could talk all night about that.
I can't wait to get to Florida then.
No, it's pretty cool.
You got the invitation.
Let's start looking into that.
Appreciate it.
Well, you guys got any other questions?
I can be here all night. I got a
I know that's the thing.
I have
I
one,
could.
kinda.
Go ahead.
This goes more towards like your actual police work, if that's all right to ask about.
Absolutely. I kind of expected to hear more of that one.
Okay. So, was there a case that something happened, without obviously revealing too much, that it just had to be supernatural, that the circumstances were too unreal, that like somebody was saved in an unusual circumstance or something like that, like a guardian angel type scenario?
Not in the sense that you're talking.
Okay.
I think there was a particular case where a group of kids had been hurt. I'll just leave it at that. That things were brought to my attention that I don't understand how I don't understand how I was able to get that information. And what I mean by that is it just ended up on my lap.
Mm-hmm.
I am no brilliant detective, but this thing sure helped make people think I was. But I can't. I mean, I know there's case where I can't believe people walked away from accidents.
Yeah.
I can't believe people survived a fall. But nothing I can really put a finger on that, and that's kind of disappointing. I know for people that want to hear about this spectacular event that you just can't explain. But sometimes those events, Tiffany, are very subtle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like that gut feeling, like once again, wait for your backup to get here before you go into that house. It's subtle stuff that happens that that you just don't know how it happened or why it happened. It just did.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think... Oops, go ahead.
No,
Do you think that's more from like experience in the field, or do you think that that's something that you're like I don't want to call it an ability, but like an intuitive thought maybe?
Well, okay, wow. It's because I'm brilliant, but I'm not. And intuitive, yeah. Now, folks that have your ability have said to me many times, "Oh, everybody's got the ability." Well, I love that. But I do believe in our business that we do. I guess we do develop a sixth sense in a sense, but I can't help but believe it's not somebody helping us sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's where I'm going with it. And the one case I'm thinking about is just I remember my boss coming to me and saying, "Okay, you got to close this one, Larry. You did the best you could on it." I said, "No. I know there's something else. I know there's." And next thing I know, I got a tip that led me to somebody, that led me to a witness, that helped me convict the bad guy, who I might add is still serving life in prison.
Attaboy.
So,
Awesome.
So in that sense, I don't credit myself for that. I mean, maybe it's because I wouldn't give up, but I believe there's always something out there helping us.
Okay.
Is it you gotta kind of think outside of the box from the get go, don't you? At any situation.
You do, and that's why my law enforcement background, my investigative background is so helpful in this, because you got to think outside the box.
Mm.
You know, anybody can pull up a fingerprint to decide who broke into the house. That's
Right.
easy. It's putting the pieces of that puzzle together, and that's what you got to do to be a good detective,
Mm-hmm.
to detect the crime. But I don't think we always do it.
Yeah.
My opinion.
I've got a couple more if you have time.
I'm yours.
Okay. So going with that, do you think that there's like victims that have ever come back and helped that case and said like, "Hey, this is this is the evidence that you need, and kind of swayed you to that direction?
There's been some cases of that happening, and then one is actually skipping my mind right now. I can't remember the details of it. But yes, in fact, one of the things my team is embarking on, and we got to wait until it gets a little cooler out. Our next direction as a team is going to be going to crime scenes, public places. Obviously, we're not going to go into people's houses, but we're going to try and make that connection and see if that's possible. And there's two in particular that are unsolved at this point that we're going to begin this line of investigation on, and we're just hoping. And the worst that could happen is we get nothing.
Right.
There's plenty of people think I'm nuts, but there's also a number of folks in the area that still know me and know who I am and would be willing to listen to me if I came up with evidence.
Yeah.
So we're going to give that a try, but that's something we want to try and do because this can't be all about us, for God's sake.
Right.
If this whole thing becomes about you, it becomes about us. Look how beautiful, how wonderful I am.
Yeah.
Then that's where you're going to stay.
Yeah.
Like police work, it's about service to others, and that's kind of where we want to go. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
That leads into a question of mine. Go ahead, John.
No, I was going to say,
Sorry.
how long does it take you guys to work on an investigation? Like, you go do it. Do you guys just work on it until you figured it's resolved, or do you just kind of forever?
You don't have the ability to keep getting into places. We always say it takes definitely doesn't. You're not going to get everything you need in one investigation. So we keep going back to some places we're able to. Waldo Secret Garden being one of them, and we're there's no real mystery there. We kind of know who's there now because of the things that we put together. But it depends on the place and how often we're able to get access. You just can't get into everywhere when you want all the time.
Right.
And a lot of my team still works, and they've got families. So it's just this is not, unfortunately, not a full-time job. I wish it was. I am fortunately retired.
Yeah.
And got a little more flexibility.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that answers your question, John, but it definitely takes more than one time to get the answers to all the questions.
But even after the one time, do you still linger around watching footage over and over and over again, reading your notes and looking at everything? Do you still do all that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got to. It's just like having an unsolved case. You wonder about it. Now, we don't have too many that are unsolved in the sense of we don't know what happened. Belinda's one of them that I keep looking at. But that's what we're hoping to do is get into some of these other spots that we can investigate in public areas that we're not going to offend. We don't want to offend anybody.
Right.
We don't want to cause distress to anybody. But if we can keep getting back there and getting some data, that's what we're hoping to do. And that's why we're taking that track.
Cool.
Because there's really, you think about it, two different answers you're trying to get. And in paranormal investigating, is there an afterlife and can you communicate with them? Or in the situation like with Belinda or like Asher Walton, we have a new question that we're trying to figure out. What happened on a full moon? Or you get some of these houses like Velisca. Who killed all these kids and the parents? So you are kind of get two different answers depending on the situation. And with having the criminal or the law enforcement background, it's like it helps. Yeah.
What were you going to ask, Tiffany?
So it's kind of like a two-part question, I guess, because like there's a lot of crime in my area.
Only one.
Well, darn. Then I might as well figure out a way to combine them. No, there's a lot of crime in my area, and there's oftentimes that I've wanted to go and see if I can pick up on anything of these places that are now open to the public. But I would be afraid that, like with me, if I were to bring a piece of evidence to somebody or say, I'm not confident enough in that, but I'm just saying hypothetically, if I were to say, like, this is what happened, how would that be looked at on the outside perspective?
Directly to jail.
That's what I'm worried about.
No. If you found a piece of evidence,
No, I'm saying like me as a medium.
okay, you got some sort of ethereal evidence. Okay, here's what. First of all, you don't know who you're going to get that's going to be assigned to the case. They may be a little more open-minded than others. You're not. It's going to be a 50-50 shot there. Here's what the cops have to do. If you brought them evidence and you showed them how you got it, and you showed the effort that you went to it and the procedures you took to get it. Like if you just walked in and said, I had a dream, a little tougher than saying I went to the scene and this is what I felt, and you were able to give them some information that maybe wasn't put to the public, that will start their interest. But then what they have to do is they have to take your information, what it is you have, and they've got to work backwards from that
Right.
to be able to link what you're saying to evidence they might have. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a 50-50 crapshoot on how you're going to be received. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
But if you present yourself like you're presenting yourself now, I think you've got a better chance. I was going to say something flippant, but I won't. If you go in there looking a certain way, they may not take you as seriously than if you went in as a business suit and said, "Look, this is what I felt.
Yeah.
Right.
This is the abilities I have, and this is what I got. I just want to give it to you." And if they're working a cold case, or they're working a case where the mayor or the chief is like, "You need to solve this,"
Yeah.
they'll look.
They get into desperation mode, maybe.
They'll look. And
There's
you may catch somebody that has had some experiences in this, and they may be looking into it. Now, they're not going to write down in the report that you're their primary piece of evidence. That will never.
Oh no.
They've got to be able to take what you said and work back to it and connect it to something else. But how you present yourself up front would go a long way in them taking you seriously as they should. Make sense?
No, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with her, but Tessa Groff is in my area.
Oh yes.
She lives about 40 minutes away from me.
Okay.
And she's very prevalent in this area as far as like doing investigations and things like that. And it just out of sheer curiosity and my own ability to see if I can test myself, I wanted to go to some of these places. I mean, there's a case open right now that everybody knows about. They're looking into a serial killer. He's behind bars right now, but they keep finding bodies in his air. I mean, obviously I'm not going to walk onto a crime scene. I'm not silly, but they keep finding like all of these bodies in different locations. And I'm kind of wondering, like, if I go to that area, like, what would I be able to find? And I think it would be really intriguing.
Have you ever reached out to Tessa?
I have not. I'm too much of a chicken to do that.
Well, I would recommend you do that. I bet you she'd talk with you. I bet you she would help mentor you along those lines.
Okay. I'll definitely look into that and reach out to her.
What's the worst that could happen?
Well, I had a dream about, this is going to sound really screwy. I had a dream that I was knocking on the door of a cabin she was staying in, like, while I was in Salem last week. And, like, I needed to talk to Tessa. So it's really wild that you say that.
There are no coincidences, Tiff.
There's not. And I say that to them all of the time, and they look at me like I'm a little nutty sometimes, because I'm like, there's no coincidences. And they're like, yeah, okay, Tiff. And I'm like, there's not.
And to be fair, you're a little nutty anytime.
I'm very nutty sometimes, but it makes it fun in games. That's all.
It does.
Smack my head off of things that I can't even reach on a regular day. But
yeah.
How'd you do that?
I don't know.
4 foot
Ceiling
nothing,
was
Larry.
able-
4 foot
I'm
nothing.
not 4 foot nothing.
Hits
but
her
I
head
am
off.
tall.
Hits her head off a roof beam. How does that happen? Me 6'1", no problem.
I have special talents. That's all I can
That's
say.
it. Well, Larry, like we said, we're gonna plan to come to Florida. Well, obviously, we're gonna stay in touch after this. If you guys are interested in coming out here to Indiana with us, let us know.
Yeah.
We'll book it. You give us the word, we will book it. On us.
I'm going to get, once I get the link, it's going on my team's personal Facebook page that we all go to share information.
Okay.
They're going to watch this video,
Okay.
and they're going to want to go.
Okay. Absolutely.
So
I
you've
love
got the info to get in contact with us. So just
Yeah.
send me an email.
I will, and I really appreciate you guys having me on tonight. It was really a blast just chatting with you.
The pleasure
Thank
was
you
all
for
ours.
coming
I know
on.
that. So Larry, where could the people find you? What's your socials?
Yeah, you can find IndianRiverHauntings.com is the best place to find out not only about the tours, but that's where we've got the Florida Bureau of Paranormal Investigations website also, same spot. You can see some of our evidence. You can check our YouTube out at the @ Indian River Hauntings 2341 if you're interested in seeing some of our videos. And you can also get a hold of me at ghostguy59@gmail.com if you have questions or thoughts that you want to share. No nasty comments. Just kidding.
He is law enforcement. He'll find you.
But yeah, that's how folks can hear me. And if you're interested in learning more about our area, John's got the book. I wrote Haunted Indian River County. It's with the History Press. Get it on Amazon, and it's just a bit of history and both the paranormal and real history of our beautiful county down here, where we sit between West Palm Beach and Cape Canaveral.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Well,
So
Larry,
amazing. I'm looking at my future right here.
former Detective Lawson, we really do appreciate it. It was a great time, and I'm sure this won't be the last. So,
I hope not.
yeah,
No.
absolutely not. We hope you have a great rest of your night, and thank you again.
Yes, thank you.
And we will send you the link as soon as we got this up.
Excellent.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right. Until next time, John, play us out.
Do what now? Oh.